way longer than just the border crisis. Plus, we're getting some of them.
I'll tell you right now, Sean, and I get what you're saying. I think Trump is going to win Florida by like 15 points. I mean, the data that's available shows, this thing is – Florida might be called by 3 p.m. tomorrow. Let's not get too confident. Everybody go out and vote. Let's go to Kim in Arkansas. Let's hear from Kim. Go ahead.
Thanks. So in my family, I just heard from the 3 members of my family that were on their way to Georgia this morning. They were driving from Little Rock toward West Memphis on I-40, stopped at a truck stop near West Memphis, and talked to 6 different Mexican families. They were all loaded down, trailers, SUVs, pickups, all tarped. And he asked them, what's going on? Why are you what are you doing? They said, we're going back to Mexico because when Trump wins, the border is going to be closed down. Now, I don't know what that means, but I asked Richie, I said, how many of these caravans did you see, these SUVs? He said, a minimum of 100. He said, I talked to 6 different families at the Love's truck stop. So I just wanted to pass that on.
I think self-deportation will be a thing, either in anticipation of a Trump victory, but certainly in a Trump victory. Self-deportation will be a thing. And I think that's the easiest method to do this. Cut off the welfare state, hold them in prison when they commit a crime, and self-deportation will eventually be your greatest factor, I think, really, in deporting a lot of these people. Let's go to Cedric in Alabama. Cedric, you're on the air. Go ahead.
What's going on, Owen?
Howdy.
It has been a long 4 years, and our generation, it has been a long, young life for us. Tomorrow is very important. To those who can vote, that are thinking about not showing up, it's important that you show up. When I go to vote tomorrow in person, I'm going to vote for not only myself, but 16 more people. I'm going to vote for the 13 servicemen that died in the Afghanistan withdrawal because of the failed policies of Biden and Harris and the liberals. I'm going to vote for Lakin, who was simply trying to enjoy life, and that was taken from her because of liberal policies. I'm going to vote for Ashley Withdrawal, who was murdered in the failed policies on January and Harris. I'm going to vote for Corey, who was simply at a Trump rally showing his support and protecting his family. It's important that we show up. Owen, you said it a couple of days ago. It's important that we make this too big to rig. It's important that we swamp the vote, not because we don't believe in the system, but because this is not only a spiritual battle, but physically, if we don't show up for the conversation, if we don't show up for the fight, if we don't show up and make sure that tree of liberty that is bestowed in us is spoken for, is stood up for, then it's already lost. It's important that we show up tomorrow, not just because of us in our current situation, because across the board, if you're an American and you love this country or you simply want to have a good life for the future, it matters. You care, and you've been hurt by these 4 years. What they have been trying to do to Donald Trump is a lesson. What they have been trying to do to us is a lesson. We've got to continue to maintain this republic. It's not a republic if we can't keep it. It's on us. They don't know necessarily what their final plans are because they don't know how hungry we are for a better future. They don't know how.
And that's kind of the unknown factor. And I'm out of time for today, Cedric. Thank you for the call. Because again, people ask me, "Oh, well, what do we do if Trump loses?" Folks, it's too big now. It's bigger than InfoWars. It's bigger than 2020 at this point. This movement is so big. I mean, Elon Musk, RFK Jr., Tulsi Gabbard. I mean, this thing is so huge now. It's beyond us. It's bigger than anything we can ever imagine. It's bigger than they even let us know. And I saw the early vote numbers that the Trump campaign put out that they were just putting on the screen. It all looks very good. So I will say this in closing. I still think Trump wins 270 with exactly 270. Best case, 343. That's where I see it tomorrow. I'm so excited. for tomorrow. I'm so excited for my third election coverage here with InfoWars. The new listeners, the old listeners, everybody, the InfoWars crew. 21-hour break. I'll see you tomorrow. InfoWars live all day, all night tomorrow. Election day. It's time.
I want to remind listeners, I want to have 100 million viewers, and we've done this before in the election. We can do it again. We've had some shows weeks ago with 40 million viewers just on X a day, tens of millions on radio stations here. We're going to do it again. I need everybody to go to Real Alex Jones on X and InfoWars on X and share the live feed and say, here's the uncensored, unvarnished analysis and truth with the best guest of what's happening. I'm going to be on today till 3. Owen's on till 6. We're going to launch another feed from the Alex Jones Network at AJN live from 8 to 10 with all the latest to give you a recap tonight. Then we're back at 8 a.m. tomorrow with Harrison Smith, myself, Owen. Huge raft of top guests, all of the best analysts that have the best record of being accurate, like Matt Bragg and Roger Stone. The list goes on and on. And we'll go as late as we need to, overnight if need to, tomorrow night. And then if it's contested, which the Democrats say it's going to be, we're going to continue on here. And we could be shut down in 8 days. So it is just a wild time to be alive. They're coming for me, and that's okay. I just want you to know I'll never back down. I'll never give in, but I could give out. I need your financial support. This is a war. I don't have much money. I've got you, but we have a giant audience, and we're so critical in this fight. So get everybody you know and those you don't know to tune in to the live feeds today and right through the next week. That's what you can do with your energy, and I respectfully ask you to take action now. This is about self-preservation for all of us. This is a war. This isn't some entertainment or some side issue. This is it. We're over the target. We're the zeitgeist. You're the zeitgeist. And go to the AlexJonesStore.com and get some T-shirts, get some great supplements now. I need money with our sponsor to be able to continue on, and we do not have the funds we need approaching 8 days from shutdown to do it. This is the most critical request I ever made. I need support now. This is a marathon fight. We're reaching the peak of the battle now. I saw this graphic, this political cartoon. Radio listeners, I'll describe it. It shows a tree, and above the surface, with the branches, it says inflation, high taxes, open borders, globalism, recession, defund the police, violence, human trafficking, fentanyl, deaths. He goes on and on. But the problem with the graphic by Branco, a great political cartoonist, is it's got Joe Biden as the root and the donkey and Obama and a sippy cup.
There's a through line of hate, from massacres of indigenous people to the original sin of slavery, the terror of the Klan, to anti-immigration violence against the Irish, Italians, Chinese, Mexicans. So many others lace through our history. There's a through line of violence against religious groups: anti-Semitic, anti-Catholic, anti-Mormon, anti-Muslim, anti-Hindu, anti-Sikh. And that through line of hate never fully goes away.
But the root causes are really the globalists like Klaus Schwab.
They're grooming a younger generation of globalist talent. They're focused on cultivating this next generation, and they've proven that they're quite good at this. This is a quote from Schwab in 2017. I have to say that when I mention now names like Miss Angela Merkel, even Vladimir Putin and so on, they've all been young global leaders at the WEF. But what we're very proud of now is the young generation like Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. We penetrate the cabinet. But we see he's complimenting himself for doing what? Infiltrating the Canadian government, grooming the prime minister, and then infiltrating his cabinet. So again, where does that leave the Daily Beast in their theory that this is some sort of a conspiracy? This is all a rebrand or a relaunch of the New World Order, which was, again, called a conspiracy. Right. And it was to create a totalitarian world government, perhaps something akin to what we've seen from the UN, from the EU, or the WHO. They've been in the news a little bit lately. Unelected, unaccountable to the people, but they tell you what to do with your lives. So what the Great Reset architects believe is that modern democracy and a free market capitalism, not kind of capitalism we have today. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But the free market capitalism has failed. And the only way to fix it is by marrying corporate interests and the increasingly powerful state. This will create corporatist superstates, or maybe one day a superstate, that will see a new world government take shape. It's already happening. Though it might not necessarily take the form of a government, it's a functional dictatorship via corporations. That's what they're doing, and it's already happening.
And his corporate controllers, like Bill Gates.
This guy's unelected, and he's got way too much influence in global healthcare. He's a college dropout. He's not even a coder. Did you know that? He doesn't write code. He's just a monopolist. That's what he's, a criminal and a monopolist. And he went to Jeffrey Epstein's island, which makes a lot of people say he's a child raper. He told Trump, don't set up a commission on vaccine to study vaccines. That would be a dead end. That would be a bad thing. Why? What are they going to find out? They're going to find out that vaccines are safe and effective, right? Wouldn't that be good?
And the King of England, who is involved in all this eugenics and depopulation, King Charles III.
At the moment, we've so degraded natural systems, ecosystems, biodiversity, that it's becoming increasingly impossible for nature to sustain us. At the moment, it's all take. Now we've reached the situation where we really need 4 planets like Earth to survive, or to provide enough for everybody.
But really, at the end of the day, it's the devil. Is at the root. Root cause, ladies and gentlemen, is not King Charles, not Bill Gates, not Klaus Schwab, not the donkey, but it's evil. Call it what you want. You can say what it is. You can play games all day, but this is a fight between good versus evil. And everything the New World Order does is destructive of their own interest. They go out of their way to kill, steal, and destroy because they like it, because they hate God's creation. They hate human destiny. They are fundamentally, spiritually jealous of the tree of life, and they want the tree of death. A new extremely important product is now available exclusively at the AlexJonesStore.com. Ultimate Probiotic. This is a private label, but even made stronger, of one of the top, highly recommended, highly rated brands out there today. And it's more than just a probiotic. It's got a whole bunch of known natural ingredients that boost your overall gut health and that detoxify and that helps flush out all the garbage in your body. Ladies and gentlemen, with all the attacks on our bodies, you have to understand that the gut is the front line. And if you don't have a strong gut, it's like not having a front door on your house or an engine in your car. The gut is so important. Probiotics are amazing and are documented for their great effects. Get this high-quality probiotic right now, Ultimate Probiotic, 60 billion, at thealexjonesstore.com. And I want to thank you for your support. Now take action at thealexjonesstore.com. And again, I thank you for your support.
It's Tuesday, November 5th in the year of our Lord 2024. And you're listening to The American Journal with your host, Harrison Smith. Watch it live right now at band.video.
I think it's time to blow this thing.
Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to The American Journal on this Election Day, Tuesday, November 5th, 2024. I'm your host, Harrison Smith. It's on, folks. Today is the day. The decision will be made. We're already getting some results. I'll bring you some of those and look at what some of the supposed experts are saying about how things are shaping up for the election. Hopefully we'll get some results tonight. Hopefully the Trump win is big enough. It's not going to take a week for us to confirm it. But we'll be here regardless, and I hope you stay tuned. I was on with Alex yesterday at AJN Live on X. He said we have something like 30 guests lined up for the live election coverage tonight, so you're not going to want to miss that. People in studio, people Skyping in. It's all hands on deck for this fateful day, the inflection point, the moment that will decide the future of our country. I don't know how I feel. I'm excited because I think it's going to go well. I think a lot of the signs are pointing towards total victory. I'll tell you why that is. I have a ton of videos to show you. We're going to be joined by Native Patriot in the third hour to discuss all of this, opening up the phones for your calls in the second hour as well. But let's begin, as we do every day, with our Daily Dispatch. All right, here it is, folks, your Daily Dispatch for Tuesday, the 5th of November, 2024. Trump-Harris polls remain tied in battleground states as campaign wraps up. The recent polling analysis from CBS shows the race between Vice President Kamala Harris and former President Donald Trump is still a toss-up in the 7 battleground states. More than 81 million Americans have already voted. Harris crisscrossed Pennsylvania on Monday with events in Allentown, Reading, and Pittsburgh, culminating in a star-studded concert and rally in Philadelphia. Trump started his day in Raleigh, North Carolina, headed to Pennsylvania for rallies in Reading and Pittsburgh, and finished with a rally in Grand Rapids, Michigan that started just after midnight on Election Day. And let's just go to clip number 19 here, because this is we can play it as B-roll, but this is it. This is the final walkout of Donald Trump in one of his legendary campaign rallies, the election strategy that revolutionized American politics, the rally. And for 8 years, he's been doing this. And now, no matter what happens, whether he wins or loses, this is it, the last one. What a wild ride it has been. There he goes, past the American flag. And hopefully into the history books. What an incredible force of nature Trump has proven to be. And so again, no matter what happens tonight, this man has revolutionized electoral politics and has galvanized forgotten Americans in a way that before he showed up, nobody really thought anybody could. So get out there and vote for this man if you haven't already. It's your last chance to be a part of this epic movement in American history. Now, votes are already coming in. Obviously, 81 million people already voted by mail. But Dixville, New Hampshire, prides itself on being the first county to cast ballots in elections. First election results are in from Gateway Pundit. Trump and Kamala tie 3-3 in Dixville, New Hampshire. Hillary and Biden previously won that town. Ballots have been cast and counted in the small town of Dixville, New Hampshire, making it the first result of the 2024 election. 6 residents in the town of Dixville cast their ballots, and Donald Trump and Kamala Harris were tied with 3 votes apiece. The vote surprised many, considering in 2020, Biden won the town 5-0, and in 2016, Hillary won by a margin of 4 votes to 2. In the 2024 New Hampshire primary, the unincorporated community cast all 6 of its votes for former presidential Republican candidate Nikki Haley. So again, just a symbolic first selection of votes cast. Trump wins and does it by converting people who had previously voted against him for Biden and for his opponent in the primary, Nikki Haley. So we're hoping that trend continues. And apparently it is. From Gateway Pundit, new leaked memo confirms Democrats' alarming turnout crisis in key battleground states. With the clock ticking down to Election Day, Democrats are reportedly panicking over abysmally low voter turnout, especially in crucial battleground states. Leaked data reveals a troubling gap in urban voter participation, traditionally a Democratic stronghold, that could spell disaster for Kamala Harris's campaign and the party at large. With President Trump's campaign outpacing Democrat efforts in absentee ballots and early voting, the data paints a troubling picture for Democrats. According to a leaked memo from Tim Saylor, chief data consultant for the Republican National Committee, Democrats are facing a staggering deficit in urban turnout across battleground states. It's not just a minor blip, it signals catastrophic decline in support for Harris. Or maybe those weren't real people in 2020. We're not really sure. But yeah, things are trending good, trending well. And look, I'm just bringing you the facts as they arrive. Because half the time you warn people that they're stealing votes and Democrats are going to pull tricks to win, and people say, "Well, you're being demoralizing." And you go, hey, guys, it looks like we're going to win. We got this thing in the bag. And people go, well, stop saying that. You're going to disencourage people to vote. So here's my official stance. Go out and vote no matter what. Until the fat lady sings, until one candidate or another concedes, you have to vote. You have to vote. I require it. Meanwhile, we have this. Man arrested and charged with attempting to use a weapon of mass destruction and to destroy an energy facility in Nashville. This comes just perfectly in line with what we've been predicting for a very long time. A false flag attack on election workers to be blamed on white supremacists. Strangely enough, they apparently stopped this one before it could be carried out. Although what we've heard is that, there's one guy that they have as the terrorist, but it was a conspiracy of 6 people. The 5 of them were FBI agents, and the one dude was the one they supposedly caught. We can get into that a little bit later. It appears that this guy has some associations with the accelerationist terrorist cells that we actually broke down with BX on Becca on the show a little while ago when she was here in studio. So if you watch that interview, you are very well informed about the motivations behind the supposed terror attack yesterday. We'll get more into that a little bit later. Finally, in world news, well, we figure we'll mention it once here. Russian forces see biggest territorial gains in Ukraine since the war began. Territorial gains might not predict the outcome of the war, but it's clear that Russia has been gaining momentum. They achieved their largest acquisition of territory in October since the start of its war in Ukraine, a total of more than 600 square kilometers, reports Portfolio.hu, based on an analysis by War Mapper. So yes, folks, the little pet project of the Democrats in the Ukraine is not exactly going well. So that's your daily dispatch. And let's look at what is happening on the electoral front and what we know about early voting. Or before we do that, should we preempt the results and hopefully, manifest this once again into reality? Let's watch, to remind ourselves what's at stake here. Let's watch some meltdowns from 2016. This is what we're trying to recreate this afternoon. This is our cargo cult segment of the show. Yeah, these cargo cults that, planes would drop off supplies in the Second World War to these uncontacted, primitive Stone Age tribes. And then the tribes, once the planes would leave and not come back, the tribes would be confused and they would build model airplanes out of wood, almost in an attempt to try to recreate or bring back. That's what we're doing here. We're going to look back. We're going to look back at the victory of 2016 in an effort to somehow manifest it into reality once again. Clip number 2. Today's election day. Go out and vote. Do your part to recreate this magnificent compilation from 8 years ago. Let's watch.
If Trump wins, how about
America is crying tonight. I'm not sure how much of America, but a very, very significant portion. And I mean literally crying.
Everybody is crying and so upset, and it is the end of their world.
feels like the end of the world.
You're awake, by the way. You're not having a terrible, terrible dream. Also, you're not dead and you haven't gone to hell. This is your life now. This is our election now. This is us. This is our country.
Is there a doomsday plan? Am I right to ask about a doomsday plan? Do you see this as a doomsday scenario?
It feels like we're trying to avoid the apocalypse, and half of the country is voting for the asteroid.
We were on Lifetime last night, and I was slowly getting drunk, is what happened to me.
How do we explain how this is possible?
How did this happen?
Deeper concerns tonight that the world's shining light of democracy has gone dark.
Decency lost last night, and that's what's so hurtful about this.
This is a different Earth today than it was 24 hours ago. It's a different place. It just is different.
I had the weirdest dream last night. Remember that guy who used to host The Apprentice? I dreamed we elected him president.
we put our 8-month-old son to bed, and I was holding him, and I said to him, when you wake up tomorrow morning, we might have our first female president. And then when we came home around midnight, I went into his room, shook his crib until he woke up, and screamed, "We have to get out of here!"
Donald J. Trump is now president of the United States.
I am so sorry to my world. I am so sorry to my world. This is not what we want.
Tears. And you know what she doesn't understand? Things are going to be much better now. She doesn't understand.
We're doing it again, folks. I'm so excited. I'm so excited to experience this again. Let's watch another, shall we? Let's go to clip number 9. It's today, folks. Do your part, vote, and contribute to creating this once again. Let's watch.
Donald Trump, just last week, he confirmed to the National Review that he is again considering a run in 2016.
Do it.
Do it. I will personally write you a campaign check now on behalf of this country, which does not want you to be president, but which badly wants you to run.
Which Republican candidate has the best chance of winning the general election?
Of the declared ones right now, Donald Trump.
President Obama will go down as perhaps the worst president in the history of the United States! Exclamation point. At real Donald Trump. Well, at real Donald Trump. At least I will go down as a president.
So right now we have Hillary's about 75 or an 80% favorite. We have different versions of the forecast you can look at.
Poll has Hillary Clinton up by double digits nationally, 12 points, 50 to 38, four-way race.
Clinton leading in Florida, Clinton leading in North Carolina, Clinton leading in Ohio, Clinton leading in Nevada. I could go on and on and on.
I continue to believe Mr. Trump will not be president.
And so right now, Mr. Trump, to answer your call for political honesty, I just want to say you're not going to be president, all right? It's been fun. It's been great. I love you. Come on, buddy.
We have a major projection right now. Donald Trump will take Ohio. That's it. That projects Donald Trump will carry the state of Florida. Huge win for Donald Trump. Donald Trump, we project, will win in Kentucky, in Indiana, with its 11 electoral votes. West Virginia, Tennessee, Mississippi, South Carolina, Alabama, North Dakota, with its 3 electoral votes, and South Dakota, Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana, the state of Montana, North Carolina, Georgia, Iowa, Utah, Wisconsin, Arizona, Kansas, with its 6 electoral votes, Nebraska with its 5 electoral votes, and Wyoming with its 3 electoral votes.
Sorry to keep you waiting. Complicated business.
Thank you, everybody. We are not going to be taking any questions. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Incredible energy, and we can do it all again today. And it appears as though that is what's happening. Again, I don't want to get overconfident here. Things could change. Although, think about how different this election has been from 2016 or 2024. Obviously, from the 2 compilations we just played, you remember how just utterly unexpected it was that Trump would even have a shot, let alone win. We went into that election thinking we had basically 0% chance. The experts and the pollsters were saying 99% chance Hillary Clinton wins. But we pulled it off. In 2020, we were totally flat-footed when it came to the scale and sophistication of the rigging that went on. This year, not only has Donald Trump cobbled together a cadre of incredibly influential Americans, especially very powerful Democrats like RFK Jr. But not just that. I mean, think about the people Donald Trump has around him right now. Joe Rogan endorsed Trump yesterday during his episode with Elon Musk. So you've got Trump, the most famous man in the world. You've got Elon Musk, the richest man in the history of the world. You've got Joe Rogan, the most popular podcaster, which is the most popular media platform, meaning you have essentially the most popular talk show host ever in Joe Rogan. You have the most popular news anchor ever with Tucker Carlson. You've got RFK Jr., scion of a legendary Democrat family. You've got Tulsi Gabbard. You've got Nicole Shanahan. You've got J.D. Vance. I mean, this is a dream team of incredibly powerful and influential people. And then you've got Laura Trump in charge of the RNC, deploying hundreds of lawyers, teams of lawyers to counteract the cheat preemptively, stopping them from counting hundreds of thousands of illegal ballots or forcing the removal of dead people or non-citizens from the voter rolls. Things are very different this year in a very good way. And I can't help but think, and again, I don't want to jinx it. Oh no, I should wear in a rabbit's foot or something. I need something so I can just say this stuff without feeling like I'm somehow threatening the continuum. But I feel very good. I feel very good about what's happening. Again, I just hope it holds up. I hope we, stop any of their shenanigans. And I also hope they don't, set off a briefcase nuke in New York City or something out of just sheer desperation. But we got some early results from mail-in voting and others. Let's go to clip number 6 here. After all, it's President Trump surging in the final hours before Election Day. Pennsylvania has been a necessary, aspect of the Democrat strategy. It's not looking so good for them. The numbers are actually pretty staggering. Let's watch clip number 6.
Right now, the Pennsylvania Democrats' firewall has collapsed. Firewall is the number of early mail-in ballot lead that they have. Remember, in 2020, it was 1.1 million. When Fetterman beat Oz, it was 800,000. Right now, they got a 409,000 vote lead. They needed 750. That was their goal. Then they said they got to have at least 500. They're not going to meet that. Yesterday, their numbers collapsed. It stopped coming in. So instead of getting 750 or 500, which now they're saying they absolutely need to get to a 500,000 vote lead in Pennsylvania with mail-in ballots in order to even be competitive here, they're not going to reach that, folks. They have 409 right now. They are, get this, 700,000 mail-in early votes behind where they were same time 2020. They're 350,000 behind where Fetterman was over Oz in just 2022. That was only 2 years ago. This is turning into a disaster for the Democrats. Trump well on his way to winning Pennsylvania now with these numbers. That's why he's coming to Pittsburgh tonight where we are. Now, North Carolina poll out just a few hours ago. East Carolina University, Trent's more of a liberal poll. They've got Trump up over 50% now. In North Carolina, 50 to 48. Let me give you even bigger news in North Carolina. Early voting. Republicans are actually winning now. They're ahead in early voting in North Carolina. That's never happened in the history of early voting in North Carolina. Republicans are ahead. African-American turnout in Charlotte and Raleigh and some of their key areas is way down. Same thing in Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. It's way down. They're not getting the black community out. And we got polls saying up to 25 or 30% of those are going to vote for Trump. This is turning into a rout.
It's turning into a rout. Absolutely incredible numbers. Down by hundreds of thousands of votes. The Democrats being down hundreds of thousands of votes in early voting compared to just 2 years ago. Basically, they as you explained, they need a certain threshold to be comfortable going into Election Day. And they didn't get anywhere close to that. Trump leading in North Carolina, totally unexpected. From the experts there. Again, things may change during the day, but so far, so very good. So very, very good. And even people on CNN are recognizing this. Clip number 20, the margins just don't add up right now for Democrats in any of the battleground states. Let's watch.
Math doesn't work.
The Democrats are down 1.7 million early votes in the battleground states. In urban areas, they are down 1.4 million votes in the battleground states. Among women voters, rural voters have overperformed early by 300,000. Democrats have to win their races early. Republicans generally win them on election day. And the margins don't add up right now for the Democrats in any of these battleground states.
It's looking pretty good. It's looking pretty good is all I'll say. So again, going into Election Day, Trump does seem to be outpacing even his record-breaking turnout in 2020, which itself was higher than 2016. Just a very, very different world today. Now, that being said, they are still trying to pull stuff off. And again, luckily, it's not just Trump that has helped to reform the RNC and get them actually active and preemptively or just proactively stopping the cheat across the country. But it's the people, it's us, it's the likes of James O'Keefe and Project Veritas having undercover people recording the poll watcher training and revealing some very interesting things. We'll get to some of those videos.